Hey sisters, welcome back to my channel. I'm always coming to you with those relatable topics. So if you haven't already, please go hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's get right into the video. So welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching. If you're not used to my channel or you're a first time visitor, thanks for coming. Please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoy my video and would like to see more, please hit the post notification bell so that you can see when I upload on a regular basis. Once again, welcome, welcome, welcome. Now in this video, I'm going to be taking my time because this is a topic that needs to be treated with the utmost care, okay? Now, all of us can relate to being cheated on, of course. But what I really want to touch base on is his wife's reaction and her whole demeanor in the response video that they posted. Now, in retrospect, any woman that has been cheated on would be devastated. But as she mentioned that, his open communication, him being honest about it, allowed her to heal. Now, she also claims that this has been something that they faced a long time ago before the public became aware of it. So her reaction is kind of nonchalant, but I think really she's just trying to hide the pain as any of us would, because being cheated on is not the greatest experience ever, nor would we want to experience that at all, especially from a significant spouse like a husband. And in this matter, this is a keen example of why communication is so important in a relationship, any type of relationship, but most of all a committed relationship, because as she mentioned, him being open and honest and upfront about everything allowed her to heal. But can you imagine the men out there that don't give us the opportunity to this open communication, to this honesty? A lot of men feel like hiding truth from us will somehow save us from the hurt and the anger, but really it just pushes us towards it even more. In retrospect, I really appreciate him for allowing her to know the truth and allowing her to face the facts and heal properly, because this is a situation where a lot of us women, we don't get the chance to heal properly because we don't know the answer to the questions that we have. We never get an answer. We never get the truth. We never get the raw reality of why did you do this to me, or how did it happen, or what caused it to happen. We never get answers. Most of us, majority of us, I can't say all of us, but in most common scenarios, us women would love to know the truth. And for some odd reason, we just are not, allowed to walk away with the truth if we so choose to walk away. And another thing is, he pointed out that pride and ego played a huge factor in this situation, in which I also highlight in one of my other videos where I speak of relationships pertaining to pride and ego. Having pride and ego trying to, build a solid relationship is a big no-no. There's no way in the world that you can have a equal give and take, a balanced healthy relationship with pride and ego. He was able to put his pride and ego aside and admit to his wife everything that happened. Now, is it because he really didn't care about her feelings, or is it because he really just wanted to put it behind him and he was really, apologetic for his behavior? We may never know, but in retrospect to this situation, amongst many other relationships and cheating scandals, pride is something that really gets in the way. And I love the fact that I can take this opportunity to highlight how pride and ego can definitely ruin a relationship, because instead of swallowing it and trying to meet your partner halfway and understand where they're coming from, sometimes we like to retaliate. Sometimes we like to seek revenge for the hurt that we were caused, and that goes along with the ego. And it's like, you're just adding more fuel to the fire. It's unnecessary, especially if you really truly cherish this individual and really want to be with them at the end of the day. Pride and ego is something you really have to throw out the door completely when involved with someone seriously. If it's not a committed relationship, then I guess have it your way. But if something like this, like a marriage or, engaged, whatever the case may be, been together for years at a time, you definitely, definitely need to swallow your pride and try to meet your partner halfway. Get rid of the anger and the retaliation bit of it all, because it will only make matters worse and perhaps destroy the bond that you took so long to build together, which was most likely a solid one. It was his open communication that allowed her to accept what happened and to get over it quite quickly. And if you notice in her demeanor, speaking in the video, she highlighted some things that definitely showed her insecurities. And I think him allowing her to truly ask whatever she needed to ask, and him, giving the answers that she needed, was what allowed her to come back to her marriage. Now, she keeps referring to her marriage as the second marriage, and I really didn't understand that part of it, because it's like, yeah, you guys are committing to starting over in your relationship. You're committing to, trying to forgive each other and, reconnect on a deeper level. But to refer to it as a second marriage is almost as if she's trying to erase the first marriage, the first existence of her relationship that really matters the most. And I think that goes along with her insecurities, because she kept highlighting that, there was a time that she was very angry. She couldn't be in the same vicinity as him. She didn't want to hear his voice. She didn't want to see him. She didn't want to be next to him. She was very devoted to hunting down this side chick, whoever she was. She made it very clear that, she was distraught, as any woman would be. But she was more so distraught because it reminded her of all the makeups to breakups and, oh god, I said that backwards. Sorry guys. It reminded her of all the breakups to makeups. Yes, all the times that they did break up and, took a while to come back together. And she just saw this situation as another scenario just like that. And to her it was very demeaning, because this time they were not boyfriend and girlfriend. This time they were actually husband and wife. And if you think about it, it's just like, in life, how you open a door is the same way you'll have to close it. And it's just, it's kind of sad that she has to still repetitively, consider her marriage as a turbulent relationship that she experienced in the beginning. And, you know, when you get married, you would want to hope that you and your individual are at that point where you want to give your all to each other. You want to commit yourself, devote yourself, mind, body, and soul. You want to do whatever it takes to make each other happy. So, you could see it in her face, the admitting of just feeling like, here we go again, we're going down this path again, another disappointment again. It's just the whole sense of again. It's like, why? And she kept saying throughout the response video that she promised him and herself that if he did it again, she was done. She would never come back. She was done. But then again, she's back. So, how could that not add to her already insecurities? And I could only imagine how she feels as a woman, as well as you guys. I'm sure you can relate. It's just like, you want to prove your love to somebody so bad by, holding them down or being their ride or die. But it's just like, how much can you take? How much are you supposed to take? When is it good enough? When is it enough? It's just like, why do I even have to go through this for you to love me, kind of thing? And I know, speaking from a personal point of view, it's the same thing where you mentally can't wrap your head around the idea that you have to be going through trials and tribulations with someone before they fully accept you and love you the way you deserve to be loved. It's like, why do you have to put me through hell before you decide to love me? Is that how it's really supposed to be? Or, you could understand that there's going to be some little small bumps in the road in any, beginning of a relationship. But the type of things that are happening in relationships nowadays, it just seems like beyond, above measure, unacceptable, like right off the bat. It's like the most scandalous, the most, betrayal of them all right off the bat. And it's just like, okay, well, if for instance, if it's the women doing these things, the guy would be out the door right away, no question, right? Because he would question her loyalty right away. He would not put up with, let me tell you, a man cannot stand the hurt that he causes a woman. They could never. They could never stand it. They would never uphold it. They would never put up with it. So it's just like, why, on the flip side, we as women are expected to take and take and take and cry and, be bitter and angry, mad at the world, the whole nine. We have to just continue to accept what you do to us as a man that claims to love us to the core, you know, before they realize, like, okay, she really does deserve better, or she never deserved this at all. This is a common mistake that I feel a lot of us make, and I'm mainly speaking to women in the perspective of, we want to give so much of ourselves and we want to prove ourselves to the man that we're with, that we think loyalty means putting up with the worst and accepting the worst and forgiving over and over and over again. But you got to be fair to yourself at some point and say, you know what? If it was the other way around, he wouldn't forgive me. He wouldn't put up with it. He would walk away and never look back. He wouldn't give me so many chances. So I think with his wife in this scenario, this is the perfect opportunity to point out that, us women, we take a lot. And we put up with a lot because we feel like that's the only way to prove our love. That's the only way to gain respect from the man that claims to love us. And, I disagree. To each his own, but I disagree. We should not have to endure so much pain and resentment and anger just to for the person that we say we love, or that says they love us, to eventually want to do right by us and want to love us correctly and want to give us that loyalty that we deserve. Now, I understand the concept of it has to be earned, trust has to be earned, loyalty has to be earned. But I mean, is it to the point where you're completely destroying your partner? Mind, body, and soul? I mean, no, right? So we have to take that in consideration with this particular. Sorry, guys. With this particular situation, it's just like, it's very sad. And I could definitely see the pain in her eyes still. It's almost like she's having a hard time just accepting the fact that she even went back home, because she kept reiterating that, I came home not because of him, but because of, my inner peace and my spiritual journey and my healing process, and for the sake of my mental, and like that's the approach she took. And but you could see it in her body language that she was still broken. She was still probably questioning to herself, like, why am I even sitting here? Why am I still here when I promised myself that I would never come back? I would never tolerate it again. I know she's still feeling that deep down inside. She's just like, but I just think it's pretty, what's the word? Convincing for her to keep reiterating the fact that she considers this a second marriage this time, because now they're deciding to involve God and to try to heal together and to try to the whole shebang of a spiritual journey of healing a marriage. um I honestly think it's just a whole bunch of BS, to be honest, because when you said I do the first time, God was in the midst the first time. You deserved to be done right the first time. This second marriage ordeal is just, I think it's just for her to feel comfortable with the fact that she is deciding to go back home to her husband. Now, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to be a loyal wife, loyal, devoted wife? Of course. You should. But as she said, you should have boundaries. And the purpose of having boundaries within your relationship is to avoid these type of ordeals. Is to avoid having pent up frustration, right? And to avoid yourself being resentful towards your relationship within itself and your partner, your spouse. Because I mean, hey, you love someone to death, but if they just keep doing you wrong, eventually that love can turn into hate, right? And we don't want that. So you don't want your relationship to spiral out of control without boundaries. And as she said, she's right. You need to have boundaries. Anybody watching this video, if you've had any infidelity issues within your relationship, you need to create some type of boundaries. That is the only healthy mannerism towards dealing with these type of scenarios where you can return to your relationship without feeling like a cop out, without feeling like you're settling, without feeling like you're just throwing your feelings to the side, so just to say that you're in a relationship. No, there's a thin line between forgiveness and giving your partner a chance to prove themselves. And there's a reason why I say that, because I think that forgiveness is kind of taken for granted in a lot of relationships, not just this one. And there's a thin line between wanting your partner to have enough room to prove themselves to you if you are considering taking them back, or if you are considering forgiving them. But you can't just, be all in when you're forgiving versus when you're giving them a chance to prove themselves. If you catch my drift, because then it's almost like you made it too easy. You see what I'm saying? You made it too easy, and you're making them feel like it's just another breakup to make up situation where, she's not that mad. All I gotta do is buy some flowers and she'll be right back to her old self. She'll be right back to doing whatever it is that she used to do for me on a normal basis. The relationship dynamic is gonna go back to its regular routine. And it's like, no, you need to have boundaries. You need to establish some type of um borderline where you're just like, okay, well, if you do this, then this is gonna happen. This will allow your partner to still have some type of respect for you, no matter what occurs in the relationship, whether good or bad. This will allow them to still maintain that respect for you that you ultimately need them to maintain. Because let me tell you, if you just keep forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and forgiving, eventually they're going to consider you a doormat. Okay? And this situation is a prime example. This wife, Jackson's wife, she felt like a doormat. If you listen to how she was explaining her response to this cheating allegation or cheating situation, whatever it is, she felt like a doormat. She was sick and tired of it because she just kept forgiving him and taking him back and taking him back, taking him back. And here she is doing it again. Here she is doing it again. So she was making it clear to us that she learned that, if she had boundaries back then, it wouldn't have been just a breakup to make up. It would have been, okay, if you do this and prove yourself, then we could go back to normal. Then I'll give you all of me again. Then you'll be my spouse again. Then we'll be a solid foundation. But without those boundaries, you can't build a solid foundation because there's going to be cracks. And all you're doing is taking the cement and just putting wherever the holes are. Your relationship is going to spiral out of control. It's going to break down eventually. Eventually, right? You don't want to do that. You want to build on solid ground as you go. And that's what boundaries would allow you to do. Because instead of just forgiving and taking him back, or just swallowing it and taking it like a G. Yes, sis, I know what it's like when you just swallow it, take it like a G. Sometimes you don't even mention it, right? Because you don't want to argue. You're sick and tired of arguing, right? Instead of doing that, you need to say, all right, you know what? I forgive you, but I need you to do this in order for me to feel comfortable in this relationship again. Standards. What's wrong with standards? You had them in the beginning. I'm sure you had standards when you guys just met and were dating, getting to know each other. So what's wrong with having standards after, when you're in a committed relationship? I think it's the classy way of fixing things. That's what I call it. The classy way of fixing all issues in a relationship is maintaining your standards. Trust me, it makes a big difference. And as she stated, she wished she kept her boundaries. She wished that she kept her boundaries. Maybe it would have made a huge difference. But you know what? Nothing happens before the time. I'm a firm believer in that. I could clearly see that they're both broken. They're both kind of lost right now, but they're trying to put on a good face for the public because he's known as a relationship guru, and he gives relationship advice. So it's just quite embarrassing, and any cheating scandal is embarrassing. But I feel like they're still living in that pain but trying to hide it. And it's just like, what is the real way? What is the real way to just put that pain behind you? You can't sit on camera and say that you've healed, that happened almost a year ago, but yet you're sitting there saying that, oh well, if I had done this and if I had did that and if I knew this and if I knew that, right? You know? So I think it's a little bit biased. Correct me if I'm wrong. Comment down below if you think I'm wrong. I think it's a little bit biased. I think they're just trying to save face, but at the same time, you can see the hurt and insecurities in her face. You can see the pain still. But she's just trying to do what every woman does, and that's to ride it out with her man. Have his back no matter what. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what? Be fed up, but not with ignorance. Okay? You could be fed up with your man, but not in an ignorant manner, because ignorance is not going to do no justice in your relationship, okay? None at all. It's going to be tit for tat. And I could definitely applaud her for showing grace throughout this response video that she did, because as much as you could tell she was getting a little bit bothered by talking about it, she maintained her composure and she was very graceful about it, and very, you know, real and raw, like just genuine, like, listen, yeah, he always do this and I always take him back, but I learned what I can do to make him respect me more, or what I can do to make him realize that I matter too. And that's another thing for us women too. We need to find that common ground where we could also put our foot down in our relationships and say what we need and want without being ignorant about it, but just to let our partner know that, you know, I matter too. My feelings matter too. You don't have to be rude about it. You don't have to be, you know, rolling your eyes and, you know, creating drama and chaos with the family members and the best friends and the whole nine. Yeah, I know how we could get down. You don't have to be petty. You don't have to be cursing at him and picking arguments just to be, you know, feeling like you matter. But just vocalize it and put your foot down in a sense where you know he hears you. You know he'll understand what you mean by, you know, because how do I put it? Every relationship has a communication dynamic where you know when your partner is shutting down, you know when your partner is serious, you know when your partner is just like completely emotionally just out of it, right? So only you two understand each other on that level. So if you get to that level, your partner is automatically gonna know, like, all right, you know what? She's hot enough. She's serious. I need to get it together. You know what I mean? Like, you could definitely show that side without being belligerent about it, or, you know, ignorant, as we say. Um yeah, creating boundaries and having standards to fix it, just like she admitted, will be another way for you to identify if your relationship is really considered a committed relationship. Because guess what? There's one or two things. It's either he will accommodate those standards and try to prove himself to you, or he'll continue to ignore your feelings and dismiss you. And that's how you'll know if he considers you to be someone significant, or if he considers this relationship to be a committed one. That's how you'll know. So sometimes having boundaries and creating standards is not such a bad thing, because we all need to know, am I the only one taking this seriously? You know, sis, like, you need to ask yourself, wait, hold up. Because it just seems like the more I forgive is the more crap that happens. So is this really a committed relationship, or am I in this by myself? You know what I mean? So that is another perspective that I took from her response, where she questioned her marriage. She questioned her relationship. She questioned the commitment. Which one of us wouldn't? At this point, which one of us wouldn't? The only thing that I hate for her is that she had to become a stereotype, in a sense where she was that woman that had to become bitter and broken, that had to be burdened, that had to go through all of that mental anguish just to receive his ultimate love. Just for him to finally say, like, you know what, God, I'm gonna hand this one over to you, and I'm gonna ask you to guide me and to help me love on this woman the right way, and to give her all of me. You know, that's the only thing I really hate for her. And a lot of us women experience that the hard way as well, where it's just like, we really do have to be burdened and mentally out of it, and just like completely broken, mind, body, and soul, before these men take into consideration what they're doing to us, before they finally realize, like, oh my God, like, she doesn't deserve it, and I love her oh so much. And it's completely sad. It's just like, it's beyond sad. Like, I wish I could come up with a different word for you guys right now, but I just think it's quite ridiculous that men feel like, of course, a truck would be passing by. Sorry, guys. Men feel like they have to put you through the ultimate turmoil for them to finally say, oh, she loves me. No, duh. Of course she loves you, and she keeps going through this, but she shouldn't have to. That's the point. Love does not break. Oh my God. Love does not break you down. Love is supposed to uplift you in every manner, shape, or form, okay? Love is not supposed to leave you lost and confused and bewildered and mad at the world. Love is supposed to give you peace, which brings me to my next point, okay? Peace is something money cannot buy, all right? But for your partner to want to give you a peace of mind shows how much they love you. And I say that because to have a peace of mind in your relationship gives you security. So it's like a reverse. It's like a reverse. You go from feeling insecure and unsure to having peace and knowing where you stand in your relationship, knowing that you don't have to worry about certain things anymore. And it makes a big difference, okay? It gives you a solid token to hold on to. So where you begin to lose hope, okay, in your relationship, now you've regained all that hope because your partner was willing to give you a peace of mind. And I think that's where, you know, I would say she kind of blamed herself for his cheating, because she admits to always having an attitude with him. She admits to being angry. But what caused it? Her insecurity. Her not having a peace of mind. Her not being able to say, like, okay, I forgave him and I know for sure it'll never happen again. Right? And I think that's what it boils down to. A lot of us fall victim to this, and we need to know when enough is enough. Okay? We need to know when enough is enough, and we need to stop falling victim to these things. The ultimate goal is to just achieve a peace of mind in our relationships. I can't stress that enough. If you are in a committed relationship right now and you're experiencing the same type of issues, or a marriage that is, very irreconcilable right now and just all over the place, how about just trying to give your partner a peace of mind, to reassure them that they are significant to you? The bond that you share with them is inevitable, and that you will do everything in your power to try and make them feel secure again. You will do what it takes, okay? And you will take the time and the extra effort to prove to them that your love is what matters the most to them. How about that? Okay? Because it definitely will make a difference, okay? Definitely will make a difference. I promise you guys. I think this whole cheating ordeal was just another prime example of why it's so important for us to take the time to really address our partners in a manner where it comes from a space of unconditional love. Because that's what rules out all of the resentment, all of the anger. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, but it depends on how you bounce back from those mistakes. And as I mentioned earlier, boundaries, setting boundaries, standards, having expectations, and giving your partner that peace of mind. So that's what it boils down to. I really hope Mrs. Jackson finds a peace of mind at this point in time in her second marriage, as she calls it. I'm not making fun of her, but you know what? She's strong. Cause I'll tell you what, a lot of us would have been like, nope, gotta go. Gonna be a single mom now. Deuces. Right? How many of us can relate to that? I know I would. Because let me tell you something. I have been in her shoes before. I was that wife, okay, that would just forgive, ignore. And let me tell you, I was broken to the point of no repair. Okay, I thought I was out of it. I mean, mentally, spiritually, physically, everything. I felt like a zombie. How many of us could relate to it? Like, I just felt like I was in a world and the world was moving around me and I was just stuck in one place. I was just standstill. I was just like ghost-like. Okay? That's how I felt for years. And it took me to just wake up one day and say, enough is enough. Like, that's it. Nope, I don't care what's going to happen. I don't care if you want to say I'm disloyal. I don't care if you want to say I am the wickedest woman in the world for not putting up with your crap no more. I just can't do it. Because what is life? What meaning does life have if you're going to put yourself to the side for another human being that's totally destroying you? When they're done with you, you have no substance. You have no substance in this world when you continue to allow someone to destroy you, to break at you, to pick at you bit by bit, okay? Eventually, there'll be nothing left. You'll have nothing left to hold on to. You'll have nothing left to stand on. Your foundation is going to be completely broken. And then what? What's left for you? Because ultimately, you only have one life to live, right? And you owe it to yourself to give it your best shot. Now, you tried and you did, and I did. 12 years, honey. Well, 13, call it. Okay? because I was just like Mrs. Jackson, filed for divorce, and then a year later I went back trying, doing counseling, whole nine. Didn't make a difference. Let me tell you something. You can try and you can try, you could try, you could forgive and you could forgive. But there's gonna come a point in time where you have to choose you. You have to love yourself enough for you. And that will be the deciding factor when you realize that enough is enough. And hopefully, Mrs. Jackson will, no longer have to endure these things after this scandal. Hopefully, her marriage and her life will go back to peace. Hopefully, her husband will give her a peace of mind and get his act together, okay? Finally. But in retrospect to other relationships out there, use this as a prime example. Know when enough is enough for you. Don't allow yourself to get that angry and broken and distraught because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Someone that truly loves you and adores you and cherishes you and values you would never, ever, ever, ever want you to get to that point. Never. Yeah. Sorry about that, my baby. Okay, yeah. We're going to wrap this up. This was a good session. I just wanted to really take my time and, you know, go over this. I'm so sad for Miss Jackson because I just really, I could relate. I could relate, guys. Nobody that loves you, like truly loves you and respects you, would take you through so much turmoil. It just don't make no sense to me. I don't know why he can't get his act together. I'm wondering if the platform that he has is just really like getting to his head because he mentioned in the video that he didn't know why he was up on a pedestal. There was a little split moment where he said that. And it's just like, you know what? Even if you are up on a pedestal, that should make you want to do right by your wife. That should make you want to lead by example. Like, why would you even give anybody the chance to clown her? Okay? Why would you even give anybody the chance? If you truly respected her, you would want to protect her at all costs. And that's another reason why I say you could see the insecurity in her. It's almost like she blames herself. But sis, if you ever watch this video, I just want you to know, like, you're no different from no other woman out there that has endured it all in the name of love. I am guilty of it too. None of us are perfect. But for some reason, we just feel like that's the only way to prove our loyalty. And I disagree. I humbly disagree. But I wish you nothing but peace and happiness. Furthermore, to all my sisters out there that have subscribed to my channel, I hope you use this video as a token for you to realize when enough is enough for you in your situation and find your peace, girl. Because without peace, you have nothing. Okay, sis? Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to hit that subscribe button. Check out the agency on Instagram. If you haven't already, you know that I'm a relationship wellness coach. Yay! So far, so good. Check us out. The link is in the description box below. Go ahead and book your consultation if you ever need to talk to me. My name is Coach Sweetie, okay? And if you are interested, if you've ever endured a toxic relationship in your life, meaning domestic violent relationship, dealing with a narcissist, the whole nine, you can go and join my Facebook group. It's called Killing Me Softly with His Love. There's a lot of inspiring, encouraging, healing quotes that I post in that group for people that have endured those type of toxic situations as well. So welcome to my channel, guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. I'm on a posting schedule now, so you'll be seeing me upload more often. Please hit the post notifications so you can know when I upload and be the first to see it. Comment down below any ideas of videos you think you might want to see me do. You know, I have so much coming up for you guys. Just stay tuned. This summer is going to be an awesome summer. And thank you for watching. Peace.